Have you ever wondered why two people can work the same hours, earn similar salaries, and yet one builds wealth while the other stays trapped in a cycle of debt and fear? It's not luck. It's not education. It's the invisible rules of money. And most of us were never taught them. In fact, we were taught the exact opposite. Welcome back to part 2 of this life-changing journey through Rich Dad, Poor Dad, the book that doesn't just talk about money, but rips open everything we thought we knew about it. If you've already seen part 1, you know we uncovered the hidden lessons that separate the wealthy from the working class. But in this video, we go even deeper into the unspoken truths about failure, fear, and the mindset shifts that can completely rewrite your financial story. These next 10 lessons aren't just ideas. They're mental turning points. The kind of realizations that stop you mid-thought, make you question everything, and push you toward a future you never thought possible. And the best part, you don't need money to start applying them. You just need a willingness to think differently. So let's dive in, because the difference between staying stuck and finally breaking free may be just one mindset shift away. Comfort is the enemy of growth. We all crave comfort, a stable paycheck, a predictable routine, a job that feels safe. But Rich Dad knew something most people ignore. Comfort often comes at the cost of progress. He taught Robert that real growth, financial and personal, only happens when we lean into discomfort. The poor dad, though loving and wise in many ways, stayed within his comfort zone his whole life. He avoided risk, feared failure, and believed struggle was to be avoided. Rich Dad saw things differently. He believed that pushing past fear, uncertainty, and resistance was the only way to build wealth. He encouraged failing fast, learning faster, and taking calculated risks. Yes, comfort feels good, but it keeps you in the same place. That's why so many people stay broke despite working hard their whole lives. This idea is both confronting and freeing, because it means the very thing you're avoiding, the conversation, the investment, the side hustle, is likely where your next breakthrough lives. If you want extraordinary results, you have to get comfortable being uncomfortable. That's where your next level lives. Money reveals who you are. We like to think of money as just numbers, but Rich Dad believed money is a mirror. It doesn't change you, it reveals you. Give someone $10,000 and you'll see what they truly value. Give them $100,000 and you'll see their fears, desires, and beliefs come out in full color. The poor dad saw money as scarce and unpredictable, so he often acted from a place of fear. Rich Dad saw money as a tool, neutral but powerful, capable of doing great things in the hands of the wise. Kiyosaki learned that if you want to master money, you have to master yourself. You have to understand your emotions around it, your guilt, your shame, your cravings. Because if you don't, money will always control you, no matter how much you earn. This lesson invites deep self-reflection. Do you use money to impress, to hide insecurity, or to create freedom and impact? When you start aligning your finances with your highest values, not your impulses, you unlock a kind of peace that money alone can never buy. You're either buying time or selling it. Every financial decision we make boils down to this. Are you buying back your time, or are you selling it away? The poor dad sold his time for money, year after year, working harder just to keep up with expenses. But Rich Dad taught Robert something revolutionary. Wealth is measured in time, not dollars. It's about how long you could live without working, relying only on your assets. Rich people build systems that pay them whether they're working or not. They buy real estate, invest in stocks, build businesses. Each decision is aimed at buying back time to live freely, to choose their days, to spend time with loved ones on their terms. The poor dad never saw time as a currency. He thought the only way to earn was to work more. But you have the power to shift that. You can start small, invest in things that grow without your constant input. Because the goal isn't just to have more money, It's to have more life in your years. Quote, "School trains you to obey, not think." From a young age, we're taught to follow instructions. Sit down, be quiet, memorize, repeat. But Rich Dad exposed a hard truth. School trains you to be a good employee, not a free thinker. Poor Dad, a well-educated man, believed in the system wholeheartedly. But Rich Dad saw that blind obedience kills creativity, and creativity is what builds wealth. Robert realized that wealthy people don't just follow rules, they question them. They challenge assumptions. They ask, is there a better way? They don't fear mistakes. They see them as part of the learning process. That's something school rarely teaches. This lesson hits deep for anyone who grew up being the good student, afraid to fail. It reminds us that financial success comes not from obedience, but from boldness, questioning, and self-education. It's not about rebelling. It's about thinking for yourself in a world that often punishes those who do. Learn to sell or learn to settle. Selling often feels like a dirty word, but Rich Dad believed that the ability to sell your ideas, your products, your value is one of the most powerful skills in life. Whether you're an entrepreneur or an employee, if you can't sell, you'll always be limited. Poor Dad avoided sales jobs, thinking they were beneath him. But Rich Dad knew that influence drives income. Robert learned this firsthand when he struggled to promote his own book. Writing was only half the battle. Selling it is what changed his life. And this applies to all of us. Want a raise? You're selling your value. Starting a business? You're selling a vision. Pitching an investor, applying for a job, even dating, it's all sales. If you fear rejection, practice. If you hate selling, learn. Because the people who rise aren't always the smartest. They're the ones who know how to connect, communicate, and convince. Learn to sell or learn to settle. Pay yourself first, even when it hurts. It sounds simple, but few people actually do it. Rich Dad taught Robert that before paying bills, debts, or even taxes, he should pay himself first. Not to be selfish, but to train his mind to prioritize wealth building over expense management. Poor Dad paid everyone else first and wondered why there was nothing left to invest. This doesn't mean ignoring your responsibilities. It means building the discipline to invest in assets before indulging in comforts. Even if money is tight, even if it feels uncomfortable. Because the habit of paying yourself first forces you to think creatively, earn more, and cut unnecessary spending. Over time, this small act rewires your brain. You stop seeing saving and investing as optional and start seeing them as your primary job. That's how you build lasting wealth, not through big wins, but through consistent discipline. Work to learn, not just to earn. In the early stages of his career, Robert took jobs not for the salary, but for the skills. Sales jobs, marketing roles, leadership positions. His rich dad told him, "Don't ask what the job pays, ask what it teaches." That one mindset shift changed his entire life. The poor dad focused on stability, good benefits, pensions, promotions. But Rich Dad knew that every job was a stepping stone towards something bigger. The skills you gain, especially in communication, finance, negotiation, and leadership, become the foundation of your future wealth. This lesson challenges us to stop seeing jobs as destinations and start using them as training grounds. Every experience is an investment in your own value. And the more valuable you become, the more the world will pay you on your own terms. The rich invent money. This line from the book is easy to misunderstand, but deeply powerful when you get it. Rich Dad wasn't talking about printing fake dollars. He was talking about the mindset of creation. The wealthy don't wait for opportunities. They create them. They find gaps, spot trends, solve problems. They take ideas and turn them into income. Poor Dad believed money was finite, something you had to earn from someone else. Rich Dad believed it was abundant, and that you could generate it through creativity and courage. That's why entrepreneurs, investors, and creators often outpace even the highest paid employees. The takeaway? If you want more income, look inside. What problem can you solve? What skill can you monetize? What idea can you bring to life? You don't need permission to start. Just a shift in mindset. From waiting to inventing. Failure is the best teacher. Most people are terrified of failing. But Rich Dad saw failure as essential to learning. He taught Robert to welcome it, analyze it, and grow from it. Poor Dad, on the other hand, saw failure as shameful, something to be avoided at all costs. But the truth is, failure is part of the process. Every investor loses money sometimes. Every entrepreneur faces rejection. Every growth story includes mistakes. What matters isn't the fall, it's how you respond. Rich Dad always said, losers quit when they fail. Winners fail until they succeed. This is a mindset we all need to develop. Because the faster you fail, the faster you learn. And the faster you learn, the sooner you grow. So don't run from failure. Shake its hand. It has more to teach you than any success ever could. And strategy. The result? 2 completely different lives, despite starting from similar places. Robert realized early that if you feed your mind with strong ideas, empowering beliefs, and practical knowledge, everything else begins to shift. That's why he kept reading, attending seminars, asking questions. He was building his most valuable asset. And so are you, just by watching this. If you made it this far, chances are something inside you is shifting. These aren't just money tips, they're mindset transformers. If even one of them lit a spark in you, don't let it fade. Like this video, share it with someone you care about, and let us know in the comments which lesson hit you the hardest. And above all, remember, you don't need to be born into wealth to create it. You just need the courage to think differently, and the willingness to start.